So we just had our first tie of the NFL season. Typically, we get about one a year. We got a little extra in like 2016. We had a couple. 2018, we had a couple, and we got our first tie with a bad game. The Lions versus Steelers the weather didn't help, but that was just a bad game to watch. It didn't look like either team really wanted to win, and now we are stuck with a really ugly looking record. These teams having three numbers in their win loss tie column.
Oh, I'm going to
And,
stop you right there.
yeah.
You're making this blanket statement that it's an ugly looking number to people, but let's put this back in reference
Okay.
where if you're sitting in, let's say Grand Rapids, Michigan, and you
Ah.
are a big Motor City Detroit Lions, let's go Dan Campbell, big fan like that.
Mhm.
You've been staring at a two numbers most of the year, and the first one's always been a zero. And
First
there's
one still zero.
the first one is still a zero, but I would argue as little old Betty Sue in Grand Rapids, Michigan is looking at 08-1 and is just sitting there smiling just a little bit because they get a little relief from that winless season
uh,
talk. So let's put that back into
all right.
perspective.
All right.
But yeah,
Fair
I
enough.
don't think the Yinzers up in Steel City like that one in the
No.
third column very much.
No, they don't. Well, maybe shouldn't fumble the football there at the end of overtime. But the real question is, should we still have ties? Are they a thing that we need to see in the NFL? And if not, what should the alternative be? And I just gotta say, Alex, I hate ties. Ties are stupid. That's one of the big reasons why I don't watch a boring sport known as soccer. Because how do we get ties, man? Ties are dumb. Baseball. We play until there's a winner. We've seen games go into the 20th inning, literally playing more than a double length game just to get a winner. NHL, they do. I mean, you get in the regular season, you get 5 minutes to 3-on-3 hockey. That's some of the most exciting plays you could watch in sports. And after that, you get a shootout, and shootouts are still pretty damn exciting. I don't breathe during them. I don't breathe when I want to watch the Sharks are actually somewhat of a good football team, a hockey team now, I guess. Probably jinx it, but who knows, man? Who knows with that team?
You're about 10 minutes from my apartment. I can feel the energy from the stadium.
Every man, it's actually positive energy this year, not like it was last season. So that's a good move. And another thing too is like NBA overtime. We play until we get a winner. Ties are dumb, man. I think college football does it so well. One of the things I like about college football, we play for a winner, and those overtime games are exciting. I mean, I can say from personal experience, being a part of an overtime game in college is exciting. I was damn nervous, but we ended up pulling out the dub, so it's all good there. But man, the NFL shouldn't have ties, man. I think ties are they're just a dumb thing to have, man. I don't like it how we could walk away from a game unresolved, unfinished. It's like walking away from a movie that has a cliffhanger, but it's just a bad cliffhanger too.
And
It
so here's where, as a co-host, you kind of just you see a guy in open field and you start to get a little hot. You just let him cook, let Ross cook
bring
a
me
little bit. He's
back.
very passionate about this subject, and I wanted him to get everything out there because, unfortunately, I'm going to zag on this one because I absolutely love the tie in the
Oh,
NFL.
you're
It is
gross. You're
so
gross.
fun. It is
No.
so fun to see the two teams. And if you would have opened up week 10, see the slate, and you look at that little Detroit Pittsburgh game a day before the kickoff, you have Mason Rudolph as a starter. And at that point, something weird is going to happen. And we were around the time of our anniversary of the Mason Rudolph assault on was that, I don't know if that was Sunday or Thursday night football. I think it was Thursday night football.
Mhm.
And something weird was going to happen. And now for the rest of the year, the In the Hunt graphic always has a weird wrinkle with that Pittsburgh Steelers team being 5-3-1. And I cannot get enough of it because that 10-6 record now with that 17th game, that 10-6-1, you now ahead of every single 10-win team. And so I think it's fun. I think it's great, especially when you have teams as funny as the Lions and the Steelers get the tie. I mean, if this was like the Chiefs and the Bills had a tie, I would obviously hate that. But the comedy in that overtime period where it's just the end of it. Pat Freiermuth has played so well this entire season, and instead of just running out of bounds where the ball was taking him, he tries to turn up field, and as soon as he turns up field, he gets the ball popped out, and it just sits there lifeless when it had no business not going out of bounds. So I absolutely love the tie. I think it's super fun to root for, especially when you have bad teams like that. So respectfully, I'm going to disagree with you, although it would be way more fun to have a 50-yard possession and just go back and forth until we have a winner. A tie is just chaos, and it's absolutely fun. We need it in the NFL.
That's fair. That's very fair. You just love to see things burn. And I can respect that. I can respect that take. That is, if you're going to defend ties, that is really the only way you can, in my opinion.
Chaos is fun.
Well, if you want chaos, I mean, it was just horrible to watch. The overtime series was punt, fumble, missed field goal, punt, fumble, game over.
It was not fun to watch.
That's horrid, man. That's so bad. But let's talk alternatives, because I really think, like, that's why I talk about colleges. I think college does it right. I think they have the best overtime format in that football can copy. What I think we do, it's NFL, it's big boys, I guess. Instead of taking the ball at the 25 and going in, maybe take it to 50 and go in from there. But if we're going to do it, we could play back and forth like that. I mean, the NFL has progressed. The whole, it's a touchdown or a safety that automatically wins the game. If you kick a field goal, the other team still gets a chance to win. I think that's great. Way better than the old NFL, where you drive the ball to, the 35, you kick a field goal and you win the game. Super anticlimactic. The NFL needs to take a playbook from the college here. I think that's the best thing to do. Go back and forth from the 50.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And here's the problem is that what happens if we run into the situation where we give the Lions the ball at the 50, we give the Steelers the ball at the 50, and all of a sudden at the end of that drive, the ball is now at their own 42. And we have this same situation because we have these inept offenses where I think we need to get to a point where I love in college football now that we have the 2 overtimes, you make it go, make it even, that first team going first and then they go second the next time, obviously make that even 2-round, make somewhat of an even playing field. But then you have that third kind of wrinkle where, we have either a field goal kickoff where we start at the 20, go to the 30, go to the 40, go to the 50, and just see how, Justin Tucker can continuously prove himself to be one of the most valuable players. And
that's great. If we're like, it's not going to be specifically this Lions Steelers game, but if we're sticking with that, I'd much rather have the offense out there than those kickers, because they.
That's very true. I think that we might have seen the worst field goal attempt.
Dude, you had to get the ball up to the 5. Okay, put the ball on the 5, and maybe they'll make it from there.
Yeah, give him a different, give him a shorter PAT attempt.
Can we give them a soccer goal, or maybe like a wider goalpost?
Just like a really just take both uprights and put that as the actual crossbar. Just have really, really short, stocky uprights, and just have a lot of chaos up there. Like, did we go over the net? We don't really know, but I think we need to give something, especially when those teams meet up.
Yeah.
It's not going to be fixed.
This game was bad. No,
the NFL is so slow to make those big wholesome changes, especially when it's a specific.
Especially when it comes to increasing the standard of the game.
Of course, yeah, we gotta lower that. We gotta tampen that down.
You can't have that. You can't have fun. And
not under Roger Goodell's watch.
And now the NFL is even clamping down on NFL content creators on YouTube, just copyright striking videos just for having logos in them, or not copyright striking. They're copyright claiming them, so they get all the ad revenue from that just for having a logo in there. It's the NFL needs to moral of the story, NFL, focus on the things that actually matter, please. Like overtime and ties and not being a prick of a league ran by grumpy old people. I think that's one thing where we can go there.